Welcome to the Uriah Jokes Podcast. I am Uriah. This is my show where I joke. But you already know that because you're not a moron. And do you know why I know you're not a moron? Because you're listening to this video. That's right. And that's a certificate of you are not a moron that you can get in the Uriah Jokes shop that does not exist for $49.99. I'm not going to do any of that. No, there's no merch drops. This is the only podcast that is not going to tell you I'm a struggling artist with merch drops. The only thing I'm dropping is my credit score over here, and the only thing I'm dropping is a new video. And I tell you what, man, there's this guy to me is like, I'm not going to die on that hill. I just was thinking, man, if I was going to die, last thing I'm going to do is climb up a hill and then be like, this is what I believe and I will die on this hill. Are you joking? When you gonna go hiking? Imagine if that was the last thing you were gonna do. Oh man, what if you had a friend? You had a friend who's like, you know what, Uriah? I found out today is my last day on Earth, and I would love if you could go hiking with me. Oh man, I think the amount of excuses that would go through my head of how many things I would rather do than to go on the most depressing hiking trip of my entire life. It's bad enough I know where I'm going. It's bad enough that in nature you have to say hi to other hikers that go by you. Otherwise, they will not like you and it will get very awkward because they're going to say hi to you. You're in a social contract of hiking. Meanwhile, I'm like, am I going to be a bad friend if I don't go on this hiking trip? Then I want to ask them, how do you know this is your last day on Earth? And is that last day, does that include night? And if so, can we just have a couple cocktails? And you could talk about the hiking trip. Otherwise, most of the time, I'm like, am I going to make it through this hiking trip? How long has it been since I've even walked that far? And the entire time I'm thinking, are my survival instincts going to kick in? And then I'm going to wonder if this is my last day on Earth? Then the tables are going to turn. And I would be like, hey man, this is my last day on Earth. And I do not want to spend it hiking. I am not going to die on this hill. In fact, I will die on this hill now because it's my last day on Earth. But I just found out now. Meanwhile, I've already told you. I would not want to go hiking on the last day on Earth. Now, both of our last days on Earth, both of us going hiking. Meanwhile, whose car are we going to take? Am I going to have to bring my car? Are you going to help with the gas mileage? Before you know it, I'm telling him I have a Prius, I'm white, and I drive a Prius, which makes us both honkies. Meanwhile, I start to wonder, is this why I go to the movies alone all the time? Well, I mean, I go to the movies alone. There's people there. I'm just in the bushes. Hey. And how about that for an opening joke? Sometimes I don't even get to the material I plan on doing. That was me. I'm just looking through an older notebook here and seeing what happens. And that was from a joke. Someone said, "Oh, I'm gonna die on that hill," and I'm like, there's a joke there. And let's see if I can find another one here. I don't believe in ghosts. That's why when I got ghosted, I couldn't believe it. And I was flipping through Tinder. Right? And then she said, I want to go hiking. I'm like, oh man, this is another person whose last day on Earth. So now anytime I hear about hiking, I just hear about, oh, this is my last day on Earth. I want to spend it hiking. No, I'll end it with, actually, I should do a check-in here. So, nothing has happened over the last period of time that I have told you through a phone that I upload online that you watch as if I'm talking right now, explaining to the audience what is actually happening, and the ridiculous nature of any of this is quite funny to me. Yesterday I had what the kids are calling a day off, so I went in the pool and drank some White Claws and realized I am not the person I used to be when it comes to being able to drink alcohol. Man, I was drinking White Claws. After a couple of them, I'm like, what's the point? I'm gonna feel terrible tomorrow. I'm gonna feel hungover tomorrow. And why? So I can feel a little bit of buzz for 20, 25 minutes while a dog chases me around the pool. And I wondered, I mean, man, this makes me wish that, this makes me miss the days of like being like 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 20, literally any age but the age I am now of 31. Fuck, 31. So I wonder, man, what I remember what it's like to be a kid, man. It's super fun. But I realized that if I just want to know what it's like to be a kid, I just lose my wallet again. I'll be like, hey, can you drive me somewhere? Hey, I don't know who I am. Hey, can you boot for me? Hey, I'm basically nobody. I don't have a wallet. Then when I lose a wallet, I keep thinking about the money that's in it. I'm like, there's $5, $10, probably up to $17 in that wallet. Then I have to go to the DMV, and the DMV is like, are you Uriah Westman? And I start having existential crisis. It's like, I don't know if I'm Uriah Westman. I don't know if I just have all these memories just packed into my brain, and I just decide to believe because it's what my eyes and brain perceive as who I am as a person. So am I Uriah Westman? I don't know. Do I live at that street? I don't know. Maybe I live wherever I am. And the DMV guy is like, man, I need to know who you are. Just give me a document that shows your name on it. And I said, man, I lost my wallet. That is the documentation with all my names on it. What do you want me to do here? So then I confirm all this information. I further realize is maybe I am. Maybe this is my chance to become someone who isn't Uriah Westman. Maybe this is my chance to be a Doug Stanford. Maybe I can be a Doug Stanford Ord. Why are those the two options? I don't know. But then finally the DMV guy's like, I see a picture of you. You're definitely Uriah Westman. And I don't know why I don't see anyone else here claiming to be Uriah Westman. I'm like, wow, that is a, I'm struggling to find my words here. That is obtuse. That is a very valid observation. No one else here is Uriah Westman, so I'm probably Uriah Westman. That's the same thing about when I order a coffee and say my name is Ryan. Then they just say the name of the coffee when it's done, and I just assume because no one else is in there, that is my coffee. I don't stand around like, oh, is this mine? Is this my coffee? Meanwhile, the DMV guy is like, I consider us best friends now, and he's like, stop it. I am never, ever going hiking. It's not gonna happen. This has been the Uriah Jokes Podcast. If you're gonna die on a hill, what hill would you die on? And if you were gonna go hiking for the last day on Earth, would you hike in the woods? Would you hike? Would you take a hike? Like you would go and bother someone? So they'd be like, take a hike. And is that why it's your last day on Earth anyways? Is because you piss off the wrong guy? Now these are thoughts that luckily I will never have to have, but now you have to have because you listen to them. And this has been episode number 2 of the Uriah Jokes Podcast, Season 4. How about that?